Hey guys, welcome to Unacademy. This is our second video in this course, and in this video we'll be learning about some basics of JavaScript. So let us start. So these are the main things which are required before working with the JavaScript. You should have a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS, and if you are new with the terms HTML and CSS, you should go to my previous course, and it's a very simple course and you can simply learn the HTML and CSS, and after that it will be very easy for you to understand JavaScript. After that you will also need a text editor. For this course we will be using Adobe brackets and a web browser. Like you can use any of the web browser. It may be Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, anything, right? It's all up to you. So we will be using Adobe brackets for writing the code, and the web browser will be Google Chrome. Okay, so we are using Google Chrome and Adobe brackets. Okay, so let us start. Now our first task is to add the JavaScript with our HTML document. So how can we do that? There are basically two methods that you can do it. First of all, you can simply add a script opening and a script closing tag in your head section or body section, right? Here you can see the example that I have added a script tag in the head section. Well, this basic structure of HTML document, these are HTML opening and a closing tag, and the body section and the head section. Now in our head section, I have just used a script opening and a script closing tag, and in between that our JavaScript call will be there. Okay, so we can simply use a script opening and a script closing tag either in our head section or in our body section, right? So these are first method. Now our second method, which is the most recommended one, and you should use the second method, right, which is you just have to use a script opening and a script closing tag like this, okay, in your head section, and after that you will just be providing a source. Okay, so we have just used a source attribute. Now we have studied this the source attribute in our multimedia section, which is the images, audios and videos, and the source attribute provides the source of the file which we want to use. So I want to use the script for my web page, and I have the source of the file. Here you can see that the name of my JavaScript file is my script, and the file extension is .js. .js means .javascript, right? Here also you can see that I have saved my file in the same folder. Now you can just put your file in the same folder, and you just have to write the name of your file in the source, and it will be working, right? So you just have to use the source attribute to add a script file in your HTML document. Now if you want to write a large large line of code, you just simply can use an external type of adding a script file. And if you are just writing 10-15 line of code, you can simply use the script opening and a script closing tag in your head section like this, right? So these are the two methods. You can use any of them, right? So in this way we can add the JavaScript in our HTML document, right? Now coming to the most important topic, the data types, right? Now whether you are working with any of the programming languages, you will notice the data types, right? Well, a data type is a type of data item. It may be any data, okay? It's just a type of the data item which can be defined according to the value it takes. So let us say I have a number, okay? Then it may be an integer or it may be a decimal. Let's say I have a text, okay? Then it's a string. If I have two conditions, which is a true and a false, it is a bool, right? And if I have the decimal place, I will say it's a float. So you can see here that if a number is an integer, that means the type of the data, a number is a data, and what is the type of the data? That it's a integer, right? So this is the data type. I have another data which is a text. Now if a data is a text, then we will say the data is string. If the data is whether true or false, which is a bool, we will say it's a boolean. Now if the data is in decimal form, I have 15.9, which is a data, and it's in decimal form, I'll say that it's a float data type, right? So in this way we can define different data types. It's a very simple concept, right? So for integer we use integer, for string we use string, which are the text. For boolean, for the conditions like true or false, 0 or 1, we will use boolean. In the same way, for decimals we use float. And also there are other data types like the object that we will see in our upcoming lectures. Now these are the basic concept of data type. You can understand data type more efficiently when we see an example. But first let us understand about the variables. So what are variables? It's very simple. A variable is a storage location paired with a symbolic name or identifier which contains some known or unknown quantity of information or value. Okay, so value is just like a container, right? You can put anything you want in it, you can put any data you want in it. Okay, so let's take a variable. Okay, so consider this a variable. Okay, and I want consider this a variable. Okay, this purple portion, and I want a data. I want to put a data. I'll put anything. Whether I put an integer, I can put a string, I can put a boolean, I can put anything in that variable. Okay, so this is a variable. Okay, and I can add anything to it I want. Okay, so it's just a storage location which is followed up by the symbolic name of the data. Now if I want to put a number in my variable, I'll say my variable which is named as number, so that I can use that variable anytime I want. So I just give it a symbolic name. So after my variable, I will just use the name of the variable, okay, and which is the symbolic name of my variable, and after using an assigning sign which is the equal to, I'll give the value to it. So a particular data type's value is given to the variable, right? Now in the languages like Java and C++, you just have to use the type of data type that you are using with a particular variable. For example, if I'm gonna give an integer value to my variable, I'll use int. If I want to use, I'll use integer. If I want to give a string value, which is a text value to my variable, I will give it a string data type. I just have to write this string data type. In the same way, I'll have to use bool and float, right, in languages like Java and C++. But now in JavaScript, it's very easy. You just have to write var before writing the name of the variable. Well, the JavaScript recognizes automatically the type of data type that you want to use. So this is very simple in JavaScript, right? For example, in JavaScript, you just have to use var, okay, and after that you will just write the name of the variable, okay, and in this way you can simply define any variable. Okay, now we will understand this concept very easily when we see an example. But before that, let us see what are the main rules that we should follow before writing the name of a variable. So these are the rules. The first letter must be a character or an underscore. It cannot be a number. Okay, so the first letter of your variable must be a character or an underscore, right? It can be the variable can be anything, any name, right? But it cannot be started with a number, but it can be started with a symbol like underscore. The rest of the variable name can include any letter, any number, or any underscore. Okay, so you just don't have to use a number in the beginning or any other symbols in the beginning, but after the beginning you can use any of the symbols, any of the numbers. Variable names are case sensitive. That means if you have written numbers, let's say our variable is NUM, number, right? Now if you have written number in capital, all of them in capital, NUM, right? And if you will use after that you will use NUM, then both of them are different because they are case sensitive. Okay, so first of all you have used it all in capital, and after that you have used it in small form. Okay, so that won't work for you because they are case sensitive, right? There's no limit to the length of the variable. You can use as big variable as you want, right? Now JavaScript functions cannot be used as variables. Now there are some inbuilt JavaScript functions. Let's say the alert, A-L-E-R-T, alert is a JavaScript function that we are going to see. Now if you will use the alert as your variable name, it won't work because the JavaScript will recognize the alert as its own function, right? So you just cannot use the language function as the name of the variable, right? And also the name of the variable cannot be same, because you will not be able to use the different values for that particular variables. So let us see some simple examples. So here you can see this example for assigning a float, that is a decimal, and a normal integer to our variable. Here in my script tag, I used var, which is the variable, and after that I used a number 1, which is the name of my variable. In the same way, I used another variable which is number 2, and I have assigned the value to it. First of all, I have assigned 12, which is the integer, and after that I have assigned float, which is a decimal place, right? So you can see that I used the name of the variables as the number 1 and number 2. In the same way, if I want to assign the string, I will use the first name. You can use any name you want. You just have to follow these few rules, right, before writing a variable. Here you can see I used first name, I used message. The first name is Randeep and the message is he is a good boy. So in this way, I can simply assign a string variable. In the same way, if I want to assign a boolean, I can simply use variable situation 1 is true and variable situation 2 is false, right? So in this way, I can assign the value for a boolean. And the last, okay, so here are the main ways. Here is the main thing that you should understand, that you just have to follow these simple rules before assigning or before writing a variable, right? You just have to take care of that you should not write any special character or any number before in the starting of a variable, right? You just have to start it with a character or an underscore, and in the same way, and after that you can simply use anything in the variable. Okay, it is case sensitive. You just have to take care of the capital letter and a small letter, right? You just have to write it all in the same manner, right? There's no limit to the length of variables. And the inbuilt JavaScript function is just prompt, alert, switch, while, all of them are JavaScript inbuilt functions, and you cannot use them as a variable. Okay, so with the if you will study more and more in JavaScript, you will understand what are the main what are the inbuilt characters or what are the inbuilt function in JavaScript, and definitely you will not use them as a variable, and we will see them in our upcoming lectures. Now in this way we can simply assign the value to our variables. Here this is a simple integer. We assigned integer and a float. I have assigned a string, right? And here I have assigned the boolean. Okay, so this is very simple. We know that this is a boolean data type, we know this is a string data type, and we know this is a integer data type, and this is a float data type, right? We can simply see it and we can see it and recognize what data type it is. So this is just a simple way of defining the variables, right? Now our last topic is the JavaScript comment. As we understood in our last course, that comments are nothing. It is not recognized by your browser. It is just to remember for the programmer to understand whether why the particular code has been written, right? So here you can see I've used I used these two symbols to write the comment to write a one-line comment. Okay, so here you can see I simply used this two symbol / and after that I've written name, because this is the name. In the same way, I've used variable age. Okay, these are integer. After that I've used again to / and if I want a 2 or 3 or multiple line comment, I can simply use / and after that I'll write my comment, and after that I'll end it with the same symbol. Okay, so in this way I can write the comment in my JavaScript. Okay, so this is a very important thing you should know. So in this way you can remember why particular code you have written in a particular way. Okay, so I hope you all like this video. Please share it. Please tell me if there is scope for improvement, right? Thank you very much. Thank you.